So I really appreciate everybody tuning in now this afternoon. Today we're working on block 18 of Moda Blockheads, and this is an alternative block that I picked. And I think it's kind of fun. Yes, it's half square triangles again, and tons of them. But it also has a block, I don't know where you can see it best, in there that I'm going to bring it really up close, where there's a stem on the flowers, and they've done it in a way that uses a lot of fabric, and I decided not to do it that way. So we'll see if my way works. We're going to do it at the end, so you'll have to stay tuned for the end of the broadcast. Anyway, if you want to see it. So good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to set it up so you can see my working area. Then I'll show you my fabrics, and we will start a sewing. I have my iron on. I'm sorry that Sharon couldn't be here this afternoon. I will check in with her after to make sure all is well in her world. And I will tell you, I don't know, they did the reason I have the bandage here, it's kind of weird for me being the reverse of right and left in there, but I still don't have any news yet, but I assume that it's all clear. I think if it had been bad news, they would have called me right away. So, but you never know. They say it takes a long time to test for everything, and with COVID, there's so many important tests too that they're doing. So, anyway, that being said, let's get sewing. I did ahead all the half square triangles. Hey, Laura. Welcome. I did all the half square triangles. You can see I reduced my bandage, which means I'm healing. Kind of cool. So to make the block, we needed the background and the flower part, the lily part, which actually I did with the sailboat fabric. And I did a little test to see if I could make all the sailboats go the same direction, but I didn't check myself. I just said, oh, this should work. And I sewed the half square triangles. So we'll see. But either way, I'm gonna just let it go and see how it comes out. This is my leaf fabric. Since I don't have green and pink and the pretty colors that the block was made in, I used this blue, and I used the blue. It has a stripe in it, but I made the stripe all fall the same way. So I think that should work. If it doesn't, well, know soon enough. Then I have a solid, no problem with that. So I'm going to lay out what the flower looks like. And to make the, let's see, it's a parallelogram, but I know there's another geometric name for it, and I can't think of what it is. But we're going to make, all the blocks are the same. So, and there's four of them that go, flowers that go together to make the larger block. And I'm doing the 12 inches, just easier to make 2-inch half square triangles. Finish 1.5. So I'm putting everything in piles of 4. That's all I'm doing right now, and hopefully it should all work out. This is, I think, well, I'll orient these all the same direction, and then we'll see which direction they need to go once we put the half square triangles together. But I don't think I think I probably should have cut those on point. So these go in like this. So there should be 4, this way 2, this one. Oh, look at that. Those go upside down and those go forward. If I switch them this way, they still go upside down. All right, so anyway, so there's going to be ones that go, let me just see if I can find the ones that are oriented the same way, or maybe I should just make a mishmash. Well, so much for my brilliant idea because it didn't work. So if I put all these up in that corner, then I can see these two are oriented this way. And oh, look at this. They may even all be sort of different. I guess I was like, who knows? This is upside down. This one. This one goes this way. This one goes this way. This one goes this way. This one is upside down. This one is upside down. There we go. Now I have the two directions. Okay, that was more painful than it needed to be. Hey, Louise. Hey, Kathy. Kathy, I got your email and I will answer you. I just haven't had a second between running errands and going to my appointment this morning. So we're going to stick these in here. This is going to make the main part of the daisy. You know what? I think I should make them so that they're all off. There we go. So that nothing matches. There we go. In there, and then I'll feel better about it. And then here we go with, and I'm going to show you what I mean about the make them in piles of 4. 2, 3, 4. I hope you guys all had a great week. It's kind of weird weather here. Caitlin made it safely back to DC. She left on Sunday. We used her muscle strength to get work done for us on the boat, because with my excision that they did on my arm, I could not lift anything more than 10 pounds, and our anchor alone weighs 37. So, okay, 1, 2. It's kind of looking at like, oh, I can see it in there. It's kind of looking like a flower to me, but then I know what it's supposed to look like, and so I have an advantage there. But here's the parallelogram. You could have cut that piece, but putting the 2 half square triangles together made it work out perfectly. So there we go. And that goes in there. And now we need to add the other part of the parallelogram that goes on this one. So we'll put the 4 pieces together. And then it comes down here. So this is a solid square, this is a solid square, and it fits in here. And my lines, at least I did that. That would have totally burned me if I couldn't figure that one out. Then our stem piece is going to go in here. But I want to sew these blocks together, these groupings together, before I put this in, so I know what to trim this down to. So we're going to sew all these units together. We can make this top half. Save this. We'll add our stem piece. That's how we're going to make it together. But first we're going to put them all together. Waking up the iron, and I'm going to just sew them together, and these will have to match, so I'm going to have to do some flipping. I could have put it out together and had that done ahead too, but what would be the fun in that? So this weekend we went out on our boat. We took friends out. Oh, Laura, you know them actually. Maybe you know of them. Gotta make sure I sew the right seam when I'm talking. Not always my strong suit. Not Pam and Ken Earl, but their daughter Emily lives up here, and she just had a baby girl. Well, 7 months ago she had a baby girl, and they wanted to come out on the boat. It was a little stressful for them taking the baby out on the boat, but the only day that worked was Friday. So we got out there and did a little harbor tour because it was super windy. So we just took them around. Plus we had the baby on there, and she was sort of getting used to things. She was really well behaved. Emily was the most stressed. I would have been too as a new mom. And and then we put out the shade thing so that she could crawl around in the cockpit. And no sooner did we get it out than it started to pour. But we had the shade thing up, so it was like a big umbrella. So that was good. We waited for it to clear up. As soon as it cleared up, we packed up, called the launch. No sooner did we get in from the launch than it started to rain again. So we sort of timed that perfectly. And then Saturday, we needed Caitlin's muscle. So we took Caitlin with us out on the boat and to hook up the anchor, but they couldn't figure out how to uncouple the old anchor. They knew how to do it, they just couldn't figure the piece out. And we went for, so we couldn't anchor anywhere. I tressed out our new anchor, but it didn't matter because again, it poured here. But then Peter and I went out on Sunday by ourselves and had a gorgeous day. It was absolutely beautiful there. Got in right before it poured. Then yesterday it rained all day. And today, it's supposed to rain all day. But I managed to be coming out of my appointment and the grocery store at the time in the lull of the rain. I don't actually think it's rained much today. It's just been overcast. Not too good. And the weather like this is going to be like this all week. But I think it's going to be gorgeous on the weekend. And if that's the case, we have got all the bedding and everything out on the boat. So we're going to go spend a night on the boat, which will be so much fun. Absolutely so much fun. We haven't done that in a while. We haven't done it. We slept on the boat the end of last season, but we haven't done it yet this season. And we'll see how it goes. All right, I'm going to iron the first set of 4. See how that goes. See how they look. And then, because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, sort of cleaning up my little tail. Put that in the trash area. So I finished all of the, I guess I'll iron these too. Might as well iron all of them. And I can put them together. And I'll have the first 4. I'll leave them out. All of the signal flags. Oh, well, I finished the whole alphabet of the signal flags. I have to make more of them because I have to spell by hand and by sea. And so I think I might press these seams. So I'm trying something this time. I'm going to try pressing the seams open. We'll see how hard they are to match up. And if it takes too long, I'll just switch and press them the other way. But I think it will be fine because I can do a little finger press. It's a short distance. But when I was pressing to one side, they weren't looking very square. So we'll see. I hope this works. It's kind of weird doing a flower in blue and beige, but that's what a sampler is. Did all red and white, did flowers in red and white. I don't even know if you guys can hear me over here, so. But, just reading the directions on one more. I'll be right back. Stand up a little straighter. Should have seen me in the grocery store, not being able to lift things more than. All right. There we go. There's that. And that. And now we'll see if it was a brilliant move to press open because we've only done it one place. So I think it will be all right. I think I will have to pin though because it won't nest. It's not nesting. Actually, I should stitch it with the blue on top because I can see where the point is. Let's just stitch this one through. I'm so used to not pressing open, but the flock of the month, which sews everything with the, presses some of the seams open, so I thought I would try. This is where the, Louise, where I really have been using the Cluck Cluck sew tape. It's kind of so cool with the 1/4 inch seam. And then when I sewed my half square triangles, I could stitch down either side because I could run the point just on the inside of the 1/4 inch blue line that was there. And it was so totally awesome. This is like feeling off to me, but we'll see. All right, here we go. This is like just a tad short. So I'm just running down the, all right, let's see how this one came out. The jury's out. It's not too bad. I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to press this one really quick, just because I won't be good as hell. Since I pressed that open, I guess I have to press these seams open. Okay, truthfully, I'm not sure it's any better or flatter than doing it the other way. But since I did these this way, I will continue to do it this way. I had to try and find cleaning supplies today. That was a hoot and a half. And I have bare feet. If I say ouch, that's because I will have stepped on the pin that I just dropped. For our condo, because we can now, we have somebody coming in tomorrow. Is tomorrow July 1st? Oh my goodness, I think it is. They're either coming in the 1st or the 2nd. They're already here in Marblehead. They're from New York and they just don't want to go back yet. So they're staying. They must have friends or family up here. They're staying through the end of August, I think, which is nice for us because we've had no income in our condo. Okay, there's another one. One more and we'll have the first corner done. Woohoo! So I'm working. This is what I want to tell you guys. I probably should tell you at the end, but I'm just going to chat away here since I've been sort of boring. Just sitting around doing nothing, letting my arm heal. Wait till you see all my stitches. I'll show you next week. I think I'll be able to have the bandage off. And I forgot to buy the Teflon patches so it won't stick, but I don't think it's not oozing or anything. It's healing really well. Just a little bruise still. Who knew when they took a chunk out of your arm? So, but I feel blessed. I don't know if any of you follow Pat Sloan. Oh my gosh, you should check out. She does sew-alongs. And Michelle, if you're on, I don't know if you're on, but you said you could be on. You probably know all this because you follow her. My heart is just like breaking for her because she was walking her dog and tripped and fell on both her wrists. She went down like this. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's such a it's a habit to do, to brace yourself when you fall, to brace yourself like this, but she broke both her wrists and has to have surgery. And then oh good. I'm psyched you got some of the tape. I know, I'm so easily distracted. It's like my brother says, all you have to do is say squirrel to me and I'm like off on a tangent. But anyway, I just feel so blessed that, really, I just had this surgery and she has she has a wonderful, loving husband who's helping her. But I was going to tell you how to fall. Really, I tripped. This was a long while ago. Coming out I was still on carpet, so it might have been different otherwise, but the floor where the gym that we work out in, we come through the physical therapy part and it's uneven. It's that probably just a bad cement pour or whatever, because I know it's cement underneath the carpet in the orthopedic in the PT section. And you have to make this turn, and I was like looking to talk to somebody making the turn, and my toe caught the little ripple on the thing, and I was going down, and I saw myself putting my hands out like that, and I went, don't do it, like in the flash of a second. And I just let my hands touch the floor, and I went down like I was doing a push-up. Now, to be fair, I probably would have smashed my nose a little bit, but this guy, he's like, maybe he's like Superman. He was one of the aides, the PT spot. He saw me going down. Peter was in front of me. There was nothing he could do other than smash my face or something. There's no way for him to catch me. So this guy like grabbed me by the waist, pulled me up into a standing position. Literally just went like this. Whoop, and I was almost to the floor. I think my nose was probably like 5 inches from the floor. So, I mean, that was crazy. Can I just tell you? That was crazy. But I did not break anything. I skinned my knee on the carpet a little bit. And but this woman, she spoke with a smile on her face. I don't know how she did it on that video. I probably would be sobbing telling you that I broke both my wrists, and they're casted past the elbow to keep the wrist stable. And oh my goodness, the road ahead that she has of recovery. And all my person said was, don't lift anything heavier that don't lift anything heavier than a milk jug. You can't lift nothing 10 pounds or more. And I was like, oh, but I can still ride the bike, which I didn't do this morning. I could still do the leg workout, which I did this morning. And I must be hunching from it because my neck and shoulders are tight. Go figure. Okay, let's see how this one's gonna go. Well, right here. I think by pressing open, the seams open, I don't have to do any flipping here. So we shall see. Anyway, I started to tell you that I'm going to be teaching a class, and I'll show you the pattern. I'm going to be doing it on Facebook Live. I'm not quite sure how it's working, but I'm making a video tomorrow, which reminds me I have to plug in the video camera, with Jessica on cutting the blocks. I'm going to make 3 videos. One video is cutting the blocks. The second video is piecing the blocks, piecing a block, and the third video is putting it all together. And I'm not sure whether I have to do it up in the store so that they can be up on their Facebook page through their camera and their equipment. So we're just going to do this as a practice run. And then when I'm up there, I will, because she can either play that video. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to go up and find out what they want. But I will let you know. It's going to air sometime in July. She's going to advertise it, or whenever she wants to air it, I'll do it. Just not that if I have to be there in person, it can't be the first week in August, because I'm just going to do each corner at a time. Because Peter and I are going to take off on the boat for the whole week, and I'm not sure where we're going to go, wherever the coronavirus isn't. Oh, that's nowhere. No, we'll just stay on our boat. We'll plan all the food. We'll take all the food on board, and because we're not going into restaurants, not yet anyway. And 2 other boats are going from the yacht club, and we're gonna just show up at the same ports, and we can be socially distant from each other on the boats. So that's the only week it won't be. And I'm actually looking forward to doing it. But I'm in the process of making the quilt slowly because I want to film making the block first, then make all the blocks. Before I can make the blocks, I have to cut the block. And I've cut one, figured out a labeling system, and because of course I'm not in love with how the instructions are written. Four more, hold on, 4 down. And I haven't turned my fish right side up. My fish are definitely upside down. So on the block that we did last time, I did not fix them. There's so much else going on. I should fix them though. Okay, next section. This goes down here. Let's just see if I can put it back together correctly. That would be better. There we go. Okay. Oh, I could press these really quick and the whole block will be together. That whole section. Of course, I could be using the tool that I have for pressing things open. That supposedly make these fall. Actually, it does work. Supposedly, it's not fair to the tool. I just didn't have this as part of my plan when I started doing it. I'm actually excited about how these stripes are lining up. That's pretty darn amazing. I mean, it's not perfect, but I didn't expect it to be perfect. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that because they're such thin lines. But there we go. So let's make sure these are all oriented the same way. There we go. Put it right in there. So there we go. That's there. Now we'll sew these pair together. And put this in. Okay, so started watching this movie. Not very good. Well, that's not true. I watched the movie Fathers and Daughters. Oh, what a tearjerker. Such a good movie, though. Russell Crowe is the father, and I only, well, not only, I picked it because I knew that I could sew through it without watching, having to super focus on it and follow it. And it had my new favorite kid actress, so blonde girl she's played like a genius kid, and she was in Troop Zero too, which is a great film. I can't remember now, But anyway, I said, oh, I like her. So, and I'm going to watch it. It was very good. Russell Crowe did an amazing job. He's a great actor. And I'm not going to give any of the story away. So you have to watch it. It's worth watching, I think. It was on Amazon. But this one's on Amazon too. It's called The Goldfinch. It was another kid. Oh, it's a theme with me right now. But it is so bizarre, can I tell you? Not in a morbid, like gross way, I don't think. It's just bizarre. Like I don't think I'm an art film person. I think I need more of a storyline because I'm not sure I understand what's going on. But it's called The Goldfinch because of a painting. So, and boy's mother, he's not orphan because his dad's alive, but his dad was an alcoholic. So she was being raised by the mom, and they were in the museum when the museum exploded, and or not exploded, a bomb went off, probably for stealing of paintings. But he did take a painting called The Goldfinch, and I like goldfinches, so I just said, oh, kids, goldfinch, I'm gonna watch it. Now I'm just sort of waiting for it to end so I get the punchline. And if I may never get it, I don't know how much more of it there's left because I'm just listening to it mostly like a podcast. So, all right, I'm gonna press these 4 so I don't have like 8 million things to press. And that, my friends, would be an exaggeration. So. All right, here we go. And we'll see how this section looks. And press these 4 open. Probably should have put more water in here. Ooh, steam's making me hot. It is humid here, even though it's not hot. You guys probably, well, you probably already got this rainy weather and it's cleared up where you are, maybe. And you just have the luck of it hanging on. Stick the red there. Okay. Two more and I'm back. All right, here is these pieces right here. These are okay. They shifted just a little bit, but that one's perfect. So I'll leave that one on top. And I won't be thinking how I want to change it. And now, so these, I'll slide it down so it's easier to grab them. And then we will have that 4th section. And then I'm going to teach you, I learned this actually from a vendor in a booth at the Vermont Quill Festival, which is where we would have been this week. Actually, would we be there this week? No, we would have been there last week and coming home. We're usually home for the 4th of July. So I missed it so much. Oh my gosh. And I'm like bummed about the class I want to take. I'm actually thinking about buying the pattern from the woman whose class I signed up for because I really want to do that scalloped. It's another curved piecing. And I might just video my try at how I do with it just for fun. And so just to see what happens. And if you know that it's a clamshell is what it is. I think I said scallop, but it's clamshells. That's at least that's what the quilting pattern is called. And I think it would be really fun to have a big, of course you couldn't see my hand motion there, to have a really big sort of quilt design that went in the clamshells. So, but I have to finish my stuff for my show first. But I could buy the pattern and dream about it. That's what I'm thinking. Try buy the pattern and dream about it. So yep. My iron said, "What are you doing?" I think my iron is it's many years old now. I don't think they make them to survive a lifetime like they used to make the old ones. So I'm not happy about that. The steamy part is having trouble. But it's a great iron and it steams. What I love about this iron, it's a reliable, and it's Velocity, the reliable company is Velocity. Not sure which one it is. What number? They're like 100, 200. But I learned that it weighs a lot when it's full of water because I was trying to iron. I did all that cutting like I said I was going to do ahead of having my surgery on my arm. Then of course I had to iron. We thought the iron would be the hardest part. I had to hold it with 2 hands. Once it was down, it was fine. And oh, there it goes. Now it's steaming. I could just say steam this whole pile. And then I could iron. You'll see. I'll tip my design wall. I put the sashing fabric up along it so you can see what I'm going to use for the sashing fabric. And you can tell me what you think, but it's what I have, so it's what I'm using. And I still care what you think. Thank you. Yeah, I am talking away from you guys. I realize it's hard for you to hear me there. I apologize for that. That's crazy on my part. All right, I have the sections and they go together like that. It's going to make, what do they call it? Lilies. I think it looks like a tulip to me, but tulips don't have the extra piece on the bottom. So we will just go with Lily because we did not name it or get to name it, but this is the last group of 4 here. And then we will measure the size that they're supposed to be. But did I just do this? No, I think that one was in the wrong place. This is correct. I was a little nervous. I think I might have sewn that one backwards, but I won't make you watch me redo it. I think I'll just flip them all and pin them first so I can talk. Trying to remember all the classes that I signed up for. Well, I think I signed up for 2 or 3. But I would like to take a class. I'd like to go and learn that new piece. But I did do Cheryl Lynch's class. Oh, you know what? I'll show you guys. I will bring it in here. I will put it up here on the live stream so you can see what I did in Cheryl Lynch's class, Zoom class that I did in the mosaics. And I have, yep, I have the pattern where I can see it to show you what I'm going to do with it. Unless I may have shown it already, in which case you'll just see it again. And okay. All right, the last 4 are here. See how these lined up. This is good. This is called How to Make Directional Fabric Intentionally Undirectional. And once I get back over there, you'll have to tell me what you think. One more. So I'm trying to figure out how to get a camera that will shoot straight down so you guys can see straight down on what I'm doing. And these came out perfect. So, wow, perfect for me. So there we go. Now let's measure. Let's sort of take an average. They should all come out the same, but that doesn't mean they're going to. 3.5. Oh, so you know what? My method may make this too small because they said to cut this 3.25. And it's going to be too small with the added piece in here, the added stem piece. I'm not quite sure how they would, what they did made it bigger. But we're going to try anyway. We're going to try it anyway and see what happens. We're going to do one. If I have plenty of fabric, I will just cut it right here and we'll make it bigger. So, not so much of the blue because it should pop it. So I cut it their size. The size on here said to cut it 3.25. I don't know why I didn't think about just totally oversizing it. So I'm cutting it and I'm going to add this stem right here in the middle. Now, but here's the thing. It's going to add to the corner. If you take an inch, okay, a 1-inch piece of fabric right here, okay, and you sew it into something, it adds nothing to the size of it because you are taking a 1/4 inch off here and a 1/4 inch off here, which is a 1/2 inch, and you're taking a 1/4 inch off here and a 1/4 inch off here, which is a 1/2 inch, and a 1/2 inch plus a 1/2 inch is an inch. Go figure. Okay, so I'm laying this down, I'm laying this on top, and I'm going to stitch it right through. So it's not going to I can't imagine in my brain how it's going to make it big enough now without cutting this a 3.5-inch square. So I'm just going to work this through and show you the technique anyway. So we're going to sew it through. I would have chain pieced if I was confident, but I'm not confident now. So it's put it right sides together. I'm going to take it to the iron and I'm going to press it toward the stem because the stem is the darker fabric. Now, I'm leaving that 1/4-inch seam allowance there. Now when I put this on here, I'm moving it over. So this may work because it's going to move it out the 1/4-inch. So let's just see if it does. I'm putting this, I don't know if you can see this. I'm using the lines on my cutting mat and putting that in there because I want this all to be lined up. You could just put this down here to make sure on a straight line it's where you want it to be. You could also find the center, so like this, which is probably the smartest idea. Rather than eyeballing it like I was doing it, I found the center and I creased it. And I'm finding the center and creasing it and laying them together right in there. And voila, it's coming to the same spot. And we're going to just stitch this down. And the only reason I'm stitching on this extra part that is going to get cut off is because I'm using the beater. So here's another beater. That's from my cut. Now we're going to take it to the iron. And press it. Okay, so now I'm going to put this here. And it's not a 3.5-inch square, which I didn't expect it to be. It should be a 3.25-inch square, which it is still. Well, it's slightly bigger. No, it's not. Just a hair bigger. So I'm going to trim it so you can see, because the math works that way. So I'm putting this line, the 45-degree line, right down the middle of my stem fabric. And trimming it off like that. Okay. Now I need a new rotary cutter blade. I run through them pretty quickly, trimming all the quilts that I trim, considering I'm trimming 3 a week. All right, so there's our stem. I'm just going to show you all what this looks like. And so I can't sew one block together till I fix it, but I can make 3 of them, 3 of these. So I'm going to cut it and we'll make one work. But this would go right in. Okay, you can't see it. Let's slide it down here. Now you can see it. See how that works? I just think it looks so cool. And now I can see that I don't like the stripe the way it is on the stem, but not much I can do about that. I'm not recutting all those. All right, I'm going to pull out the fabric from my box and we will get cranking. So here is the stripe fabric that I used. And I will save the white. I only need to cut one more strip. These other ones that I cut will be big enough. But I need a 1-inch strip. And I'm going to make sure that I'm doing it the same way. There we go. because I don't want one stem going opposite of the other stems. And I need to make this fit since I now have a small space on my, get that out of the way so I don't ruin it, on my cutting mat. And the way you do that is you put one fold on a line, a horizontal line, and the other fold on a horizontal line. Then you have two parallel lines, and it keeps the wave from happening, supposedly. No, it does. It really does work. And now I have to turn this around because it's only an inch. And I'm going to put that right on there. Now, we want the block, okay? We want the block to be 3.5 inches. That's the size we need, okay? Not 3 1/4. You can see that the reason I'm doing it is the 3 1/4 is too small. I could trim all the other ones down to 3 1/4, but I will no longer have a 12-inch block. So I am going to, I just think I pulled that from the wrong. Okay. That over here. And I need the background. Lucky for me, I bought a whole bolt of this background. So I can cut and think how to do this without the least amount of disruption here. I think I will just tear a strip off. I think it's really important to see when you plan something out and it doesn't go right. It's not like the end of the world, and you know, especially if you have, like, I'm fortunate, like I have extra fabric. If you were doing a kit or something, you might get stuck a little bit with that not having enough fabric. So I know I'm fortunate that way that I had, and I knew I had that fabric. But you can see that there's a way to make it work. You don't have to do it the way the directions say. You can come up with your own plan on how to do it. So I'm going to cut a 4-inch square and trim it down is what I'm going to do. Just so I don't have to worry about the seam allowance. And this is going to be, I'm going to have to cut one extra side. I ripped it oversized because when you tear fabric like that, you get a ripply edge. It's just really hard to even it out. So, but I can do this one right here because now I have a straight edge, 2 straight edges. And then I have my piece. Okay, that will go in to the box to cut out more background for another week. Nothing, well, not nothing, very little wasted. Try and keep it all together. Okay. Now I'm going to stack all 4 of these up so we know it's going to work. This is going to make that one piece. So I'm stacking all 4 of them, and I'm going to cut it on the diagonal. And what I'm going to tell you is that diagonal part here that I'm cutting is now bias, which means it's stretchy, which means you don't want to handle it very much. You want to, and you really want it, your rotary cutter to cut all the way through everything, not to make a mess like I did. So you want to have it, I find it fascinating how it cut through some of them. Okay. So I'm going to separate, so I have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And now we can take this. I think if I fold it in half, it's long enough. Plenty long enough. And then we have these other ones. Plenty long enough too. So we're going to just plop this down here and put this on. Dropping it down a little ways. And this is when I like the tape here. I can just guide by the tape once it catches. I'm just guiding by the tape. And I'm hardly, literally I'm hardly touching the fabric because I don't want there to be any chance that I'm going to stretch it. It's like when you're sewing the curved pieces. You could actually even just start this one in like this. I don't know if you remember doing, I think it's Eleanor Burns' Log Cabin. She did this where she just chained like all these pieces and then you cut them apart and trimmed them. I don't know, mine came out a little wonky. It was early on in my sewing career, so I wasn't as accurate. So here we go. Catch this one. And then lay it down right on top. And I'm just following the dark line on the tape, which is the 1/4 inch seam. And I'm running along the inside of it. For me, that makes the scant 1/4 inch. It might make it slightly bigger than the 1/4 inch, actually. I'm not sure. One more to go. And we'll have all 4, and then we'll add it to the other side. And then to the iron. We have in our garden some zucchini started. I shouldn't say our garden, it's really Peter's garden. He's done all the work. And green tomatoes. We have one that's like this big. Go figure. Just hope we get it before the gopher. All right. I think I should have some hold music or something when I'm ironing. Okay. Oops, that one flying. There we go. Now we can sew these back on, but we need to pin the other side on. I mean, I oversized it so we can be off by a little bit, but you might as well pin it on there. So when I do this, I like to pin it so that it's a trough and a trough, and they just nestle right into each other. So stick the pin in, find the center of them. We don't really need all this extra hanging off here. Okay. So I'm just putting this together. Here we go. I don't know why I'm putting 2 pins in. We don't really need to. Okay. What a pin. There's a quilter that I follow on Instagram called String and a Story, I think String, I think that's what it's called. She's done this or designed, I don't know if she designed it, a national park, a Yellowstone park. She made a panel or something. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is she and our family went on a trip to Yellowstone and they camped and went hiking every day, and she posted pictures and it was so beautiful, and they were all alone. They just wiped down, they brought wipes and disinfectant and wiped down everything where they were and traveled safely because it wasn't crowded. And I don't know if they saw other people or what. She didn't post everything. Just their beautiful hikes. It reminded me of Yellowstone when I was there the first time as a child. I was 6 or 7. And Jim was there. So you can ask him, probably won't remember. And I was so amazed by Old Faithful. They have a picture of her with Old Faithful. And the last time I went, I was in college. And they had bleachers and this big monolith that said Old Faithful is going to go off at this time. And it was packed with all these people. And everybody in my college field trip group were all excited to see it. And I was so depressed. I had to walk away. I couldn't stand it. I was like, I never want to go back. But she posted those pictures and I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm actually kind of excited at the prospect of that someday maybe Peter could enjoy seeing it, go take pictures and go hiking. And okay, da-da-da, we just have to square these 4 up. Oh, well, press them and square them up, and then we will have a block. That's so cool. The other thing you have to do is be careful when you're pressing these that you don't stretch it. But you can see, let me just show you how I didn't add anything. Can you see that the seams like touch each other when pressed into each other? So like there's no, it's just it's so mind-blowing that you're adding something in and it's not taking up space, but that's because you're taking something away. Okay, so 3.5 inches is what we want. Let's use the right side. I'm eyeballing down the middle, okay, and I'm centering this. I'm putting the line. Let's see, can you see it? I don't know, I'm so challenged. that line, right down the middle of the stem, okay? And I'm using the top two, lining up the top two sides that I know, so that I'm really just trimming the blue off, okay? And then I'm rotating it, putting the 3.5, making sure that I'm doing it right. Black line, black lines. And there we go. 1. Up the middle. 3. Just putting this. Now, you could applique these on, these stems on. You could have done it the way the pattern said, which was to cut a square of the stem fabric and like way too many squares of the back, well, not way too many, double the amount of squares of the background fabric, and then you cut them on the, there was a lot of steps, okay? Not that this wasn't a lot of steps because I had to redo it, but this is so much easier for me. This worked easier for me. The other one, I just couldn't imagine really helping you understand what it was doing, okay? And not that it was hard, it just, it didn't have the same sense, and it used, I don't know what you do with the extra fabric. And you really could have cut, what I'm showing you is that you could have cut a 3.5-inch square and it would have worked. All right, we have our sections. Okay, let's put it together. Add our stem in. And we're going to sew the block together. Do, do, do. There it is, all in there. And we're going to make these 4 and then sew the 4 together. This just lays right in here. And we're going to sew it. This is flipping up. There we go. Okay. I'm going to sew it this side up because then I'm going to hit the bulk of that, the stem, and my machine will just fly over it. Okay. So this is a 4 patch, and then it will be a bigger 4 patch that will make the block. You could make that stem that we added inside there any size that you wanted, okay? These I'm pinning because I want this intersection to match. These are getting bulky in here. I think I'll just press these. Now the question is to one side. I think I'll do these to one side rather than open. Yep. First half. It's right there. 2 more of these. 4 more steams. It's kind of fun how this is all going together. But I'm really glad I opted, even though I need more 6.5-inch squares, that I did this one 12. Okay. I'm getting a little steamed here. I have to make sure I press this one. Line up, stack them all the same way. The same so that, all right, so this is going this way, so I need to press this. Sorry, that was mumbling, I apologize. I was figuring it out. I could just leave these apart and have 4 lilies, but I don't really want 4 of the same block in my quilt right now, given the setting that I'm doing on my design wall. All right, let's just pin them all. It just seems extra thick. Oh. Nope, it's right. Just seemed odd to me. Nope, I pinned. Sorry, it just seemed odd to me, and I wanted to check before I made a mistake. Last one to pin. Okay, we should have our 4 lilies. This first, no, I guess it's okay. But this first one was off, but we'll see when I press it. I think it will be fine. I think it will be fine. Here we go. To the iron. You know, it always takes so much longer than you think to press, but and you want to be in a hurry to see it, but I refuse. Flip it over, check it. A little finger press first. All right, one of them shifted a little. I saw it happen when I was sewing, but not that one, not this one. But we have our 4 lilies. 1, 2, 3, 4. There they go. We're going to sew them together, and the block will be done. I think, I don't know whether pressing the seams open made less bulk. It worked. I just wanted to see. I think shifting the, flipping the seams so that they nest with the half square triangles would have made more sense. I think it would make less bulk than what I have right here in my seam. And so if you make this block, I might suggest that you do that instead of pressing open like I did here. I'm going to press to one side for the 4 patch because it will nest, and we have the same amount of bulk no matter what. So here we go. 2 seams, 1 more seam, and we have our block. I can't wait to see it. I get to this point and I'm like a kid in a candy jar. I just like want to see the block done. I'm like, I can't stop thinking about it, like wanting to see it all done, whether it's gonna work or not. Okay, so to the iron Okay, I'm going to flip the seam the other way. When I press this seam, I'll fix that, just because it's created less bulk with the stem there. So, matching up these seams. All of these, like this is nesting because we nested the other side. All of these seams would have nested had I done it the nesting way rather than open. And that is just the way it goes. Okay. Last seam. All right, I'm gonna press it. Put those seams down here first. Okay. There. Well, let's get farther back. There it is. Voila! It's amazing, I think. All right. I'm dropping that one down and I'm sticking this one up by the schoolhouse so that you can see it set in when I turn you all around. I'm going to move you down. There it is. There it is on the design wall, right in the space. Maybe I can straighten it out a little better. Get out of the way. Nope, this way. Slide the computer this way. Oh, I see what the problem is. I'm caught on the cord. Sorry, making you seasick. There it is. I think it's kind of cool. I think it came out fine, just fine. I'm not even showing you one that slipped, so I'm not going to fix it. All right, I promised I would show you that I have to carry you, so I'm not going to move things. Here is my, there's all my alphabet. I can do squats with a computer. So I did get the alphabet done. The block done. So now I just have to spell by hand and by C. I'm going to do that next. Sorry, adjusting a little bit. Now I want to show you the quilt that I'm doing the class with. Pattern. Laura, you saw it with me at market. It's called Boo. I'm in love with it. I just think it's the cutest thing. It's these little ghosts. And the whole quilt takes 16 fat quarters, but you do not use that whole fat quarter, so you do not have to use a fat quarter. You could get away with less fabric. I cut one out, all the pieces out to make one, and I could have cut 2 ghosts out of 1 fat quarter. And what she's done, she doesn't say so in her pattern, but what she's done is switched up the bows on, I don't know if that's in focus or not, the bows on, like, one ghost is the body of another ghost. So that's what I'm doing. You could buy fabric for that. It's a 2-inch square. So, or two 2-inch squares, I think. But it's such a cute pattern. Let's see. It's by Pattern Basket. Margot Langudoc Designs. She's in Canada. I think she has PDF patterns. Liz got this at market and gave me the pattern, so I'm blessed to have it. And I'm making the ghost. I will show you my ghost when it gets done. I'll have it done next week because Jess is coming over to film me sewing the first block tomorrow morning. So I'm going to cut another ghost out tomorrow morning and sew a ghost. We'll see. I don't know that we'll have enough time for that because she has a dentist appointment. Yes, the dentists have opened up. She's getting her teeth cleaned tomorrow at 10:30. She's the guinea pig in the family for going to the dental hygienist. So that is that. And I will let you know how Liz is setting it up. I don't want to stomp on her toes in any way, but I will show you the ghost. You can decide if you want to do it. And I'm super excited. And, oh, one more thing to show you. I'm like, oh. So this is, I'm doing the one for Liz out of fat quarters that she gave me from her shop. So, and they're fun. They're like really fun. And this purple. Anyway, they're cute. But like, it's not my cup of tea, that kind of Halloween stuff. This is, I showed you that block of the month that I'm doing. This is the fat quarter bundle from the block of the month. And I think it's what the pattern designer used actually for hers. But this is what I'm going to do my ghosts in. These grays, orange, there's some black ones here. It came in the mail. I'm like so excited. And I'm going to pick, maybe you guys can help me here. I'm going to open it up. I really shouldn't. It's going to make a mess. But, so I'm going to demonstrate with Liz's fabric and everything because people come into the store and they want to make it just like the one that's in the store. So I'm making 2 of these quilts. I just might do a giveaway. That would be kind of fun. Because what do I need with 2 of them? So this is the fabric that they used for the background. It's houndstooth. Like that would be a nightmare to line up. So there is this beige floral. There's a little glare here with the lights. I don't know if you can see the colors super well. There is a little beige dot because I have to order yardage to make the quilt. There's a little black dot, but see the problem with the black is if it touches up against the black fabric of the ghost, it may, well, that might not be too close. So there is, the dots are in all the colors. There's orange, beige, the little polka dotties. Can you see this? And there's an orange floral, but this does not scream background to me. Let's see, what else? There is this orange background, little orange design. So those are my choices. Type in the comments before this ends, which is very soon, or email me what you liked, what you thought, what you would do, if you would do it. I mean, I'm not swayed. I'm going to pick one. But I might be, like, if everybody says one thing and I was thinking something else, I just might try it for mine. We'll see. But this is going to make, this would make like a ton of these quilts. So I'll have to think of something else to do with it, which will not be a hardship. Just saying. Okay, I'm putting it out of the way because it's making a mess, like I knew it would. Probably should not have done that. So next week's fine, should be on track, unless there's some surprise happening in my life that I'm not planning on. No, I've had plenty. I got all my surprises out of the way. So, hold on. Hold the phone. Again, I don't see block 20. I've printed block 20 like a million times now. This is block 19. It's paper pieced, 6.5-inch block. is what I'm doing. And it's going to be super fast. So I'm going to look up and pick another super fast one. I think that I'm going to do this one. Right here, skipping ahead, just doing it. It's adorable. Look at these houses. I think they're really cute. Very super easy to make. And oh, look at the roofs. Flying geese. We did them last time. That was so much fun. So we're going to do block 19 and 24 because we can skip around. We have next week. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to paper piece that, show it really quick. It'll go together fast, and then I'll make the other one. We'll have 2 more 6.5-inch blocks on this design wall. It is growing in leaps and bounds. So that